What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we are talking about Nintendo, my beloved Nintendo, because they have made a lot of decisions recently that has upset a big portion of their hardcore fan base. And their hardcore fan base is always passionate and always outspoken, and they are definitely letting their feelings known about what Nintendo has been doing, and a lot of different decisions from Nintendo that are very questionable, which again is something Nintendo is known for, but the amount of decisions they are making and the optics of those decisions do not look good at all. Now, a lot of this is taking place in the competitive side of, the Nintendo community. I don't get too involved in that. There's been a lot of controversy with the Smash community in the last year. There's a lot of moving parts to this. I don't pay a lot of attention to it, but the amount of stories that have happened in just the last few days is something you have to pay attention to. And as a Nintendo fan from a certain side of things, I have to call them out when I see this, because it's not a question of can they do these things. It's a matter of should you? Should you do these things? Because the optics are terrible, and when there's this amount of nonsense going on, it's starting to make Nintendo look very bad. So let's cover it. So right here is a tweet, and it's in the last few days, Nintendo has shut down the sales of Etika-themed Joy-Cons. Now, to my understanding, these Etika-themed Joy-Cons were just covers for Joy-Cons, just covers for charity, and they shut that down. Shut down a fan-made tournament for Smash Bros. Melee. And again, Melee has a very, very strong fan base, and Nintendo doesn't really support the Melee community. But the fact that they shut down the tournament is absolutely ridiculous. Why? How do you benefit from shutting this down, Nintendo? It's one thing if you don't want to connect to it and attach to it, but at the end of the day, these are people that have a passion for a game that you released a long time ago. You haven't fully supported that game, so they have found alternate ways to want to play this game and have a tournament, and you're shutting it down. Again, they don't have to support it, they don't have to promote it. I'm totally understanding that they don't want to directly have to get involved, but to actively shut it down is a terrible, terrible move and a terrible look. Canceled their Splatoon event because some of the players supported the Melee community. They don't care about us. What a dog shit company. Now, these are just what people are saying, so we're going to go to a couple of websites and we're going to read some of the details to you, and I will respond to this. So this is over on IGN. It says, Smash Bros, Splatoon, and other fan communities clash with Nintendo. Nintendo has been trending over the past weekend for all the wrong reasons. Over the last weekend, multiple fan communities have vocally criticized Nintendo's approach to canceling events and serving cease and desist orders. The cancellation of an official Splatoon tournament livestream and blocking of sale of unofficial charity-focused Joy-Con designs have become the latest flashpoint in the company's increasingly fractious relationship with sections of its own fans. To understand this weekend's reactions, we need to go back last month when Nintendo served a cease and desist to the Smash Bros. Melee Big House Tournament, one of the biggest events on the Smash Bros. Competitive scene's calendar. The cease and desist, which centered around the tournament's use of the unofficial Slippy mod to make the game playable online, caused Big House to cancel the event outright. Now, again, I don't know anything about that particular mod or anything like that. I've never heard of it, but it's clearly something that enables them to play the game online because the game doesn't have online playability from Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't want to support this huge fan base with this game, so the players are taking it into their own hands, and I don't really see how this is a problem. How does this hurt you, Nintendo? How does this hurt you to have fans create something on their own so they can then continue to play your game and advertise your game? I mean, this is something that Nintendo has been they've just been out of their minds on this in recent years with how they handled the whole YouTube thing, and I got it. I totally understood it. And again, it needs to be clear, for me, this type of stuff doesn't affect me personally, but I'm looking at it from other people's perspectives, and at some point, Nintendo has to take their head out of their ass. They have to take their head out of their ass, and they have to start realizing the optics of this and how this makes you look. Now, again, Nintendo is killing it. Nintendo is breaking records all over the place. The Switch is a juggernaut, okay? The 3DS was a juggernaut. Everything they produce is pretty much guaranteed to sell well because they make incredible software and they make hardware that can support that software. They're doing a fantastic job. They are in better shape than they've been in a long time. But stuff like this is a really bad look, and it can really get down into the core of your community and start to infect your fan base, and it can start to spread. And as, again, someone that's a big fan of this company and what they do, these decisions right here are not good for anyone. They do not hurt you at all. To have these fans do this, have this tournament, put this thing together on their own, it doesn't hurt you at all. You don't have to officially support it, but you don't have to send out cease and desist. This is unacceptable. In a statement to Polygon, Nintendo explained that the tournament requires the use of illegally copied versions of the game in conjunction with the mod called Slippy during their online event. Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers to ask them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo, no choice but to step in to protect its intellectual property and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual property. Again, you have a huge fan base. And again, you have the right to do this. Legally, it's your company, it's your property, and you have the right to do that. But you still have to understand the optics here, and you have to understand the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, how is this hurting you? This is only helping your brand. I get their legal nonsense that they're spewing. I get what they're saying. I understand what they're saying. But maybe, just maybe, you should provide this opportunity for the players so they don't have to create the opportunity for themselves. We are in a new world, Nintendo, and the online functionality of games is extremely important. And for all the things that Nintendo does right, their online infrastructure is trash. It is really bad. Really bad. I say that as someone that plays a lot of online Mario Kart. Their online infrastructure is not good. It's not good at all. And so you have a fan base out there that's been around for a long time. I mean, I ran Smash Brothers Brawl tournaments back in the day when I created Geeks and Gamers. This was back in like 2012. And the Melee community was massive back then. This community has been around for a long time. And you have taken no steps to support them having this infrastructure. So it's one thing if you have provided what the fans need to make their tournament happen. You have it, so therefore they've created it on their own. So if you don't like the fact that they are creating these types of things, maybe you should. It's not like you don't have the money. It's not like you don't have the power. It's not like you don't have the resources. And the fact that you haven't created something to let them play online means you shouldn't be shutting them down because they created it themselves. That's how I look at it. Absolutely frustrating. The wider Smash Bros. Community took issue with the decision, particularly as Big House had been forced to cancel its in-person events due to the pandemic. Another reason why you shouldn't have done this, making the online solution the only safe way to play the event. Since that decision, the hashtag free Melee has been widely used on Twitter and other social media services to protest Nintendo's decision. Cut to this weekend, and the Splatoon 2 North America Open. The official event was due to get a live stream, but the broadcast was canceled the day before the show was due to go out. On the tournament's official Discord server, an admin explained that the decision was due to unexpected executional challenges. However, the rumors quickly spread regarding the fact that multiple teams competing in the tournament had been entered by the names that directly referenced hashtag free Melee, and that this may have resulted in Nintendo pulling the broadcast. Nintendo has yet released a public statement. IGN contacted the company for comment. And then the rumors quickly gained traction, with both hashtag free Melee and free Splatoon beginning to trend on Twitter alongside a tidal wave of memes targeting Nintendo's perceived anti-consumer practices. That negative sentiment has brought to light another of Nintendo's recent cease and desist. Custom controller designer Captain Alex had created a Joy-Con shells themed to commemorate popular YouTuber Etika, who passed away last year. with proceeds going to the JED Foundation, a suicide prevention charity. However, the designer was served a cease and desist in September, seemingly due to his use of the trademark term Joy-Con as part of the design. The story has now been picked up across Reddit, Twitter, causing further criticisms of Nintendo's approach to the fan creations and events. Again, optics, optics, optics. If you are going to get involved from a legal standpoint in this, okay, if it's that serious, maybe, just maybe, have your legal team look into it. Have them do some research into the company, see that it's a good cause, and maybe you should back the cause. It's just unbelievable what they're doing. It's unbelievable. It's very frustrating that Nintendo has made these decisions, and again, when these decisions happen here or there, it's whatever, man. They're a big company. They have a lot of moving parts. I totally understand that sometimes you have to make tough decisions as a company. You just do. For instance, okay, I own Geeks and Gamers, all right? I own the trademark to Geeks and Gamers. I have had people that have, used my trademark illegally, and it was very frustrating to me. And these are people that are not there to compromise. They're not there to benefit the brand of Geeks and Gamers. They're there to trash it. They used my trademark to trash my company. Didn't have a big following, and I had to make a decision from an optics standpoint. Like, I could have sued these people. I could have sent a cease and desist. My lawyer was asked. They were like, my attorney was begging me to let them send a cease and desist to these parties. I decided not to, because from an optics standpoint, it wasn't hurting me, and it would only make the situation worse if I stepped in and handled that. And I support people that are fans of Geeks and Gamers to use the brand and the logo if they want to, celebrate it and help it grow or whatever like that. But with Nintendo, huge company, huge successful company, lots of, money, lots of resources, lots of attorneys. And when you see a situation like this with the Etika Joy-Cons, and you see that it's a good cause, maybe have your legal people look into it and say, okay, let's do our research. Let's question this company. Let's make sure they're on the up and up. And if everything works out, maybe you should just support the fucking company and support the charity. This is unbelievable. So again, when you have this amount of stories all compiling into one, it can't be ignored. And again, I'm a longtime supporter and defender of Nintendo, and I'll continue to be a fan of them, but I will also call them out on their bullshit. As much as this channel has grown, as much as we enjoy streaming different Nintendo games, and we'll continue to enjoy those games, they're not above criticism. And this right here, these situations are not a good look for Nintendo, and they need to be called out. And there's a lot of bigger Nintendo channels that are supported by Nintendo that will never call them out, because I know how Nintendo operates. I know how they operate. I know that they have certain restrictions about criticizing them. I'm never going to get a sponsorship from Nintendo. Not looking for one. Don't look for sponsorships from anybody. All I look for is people that want to support Geeks and Gamers. That's it. So if you do want to support Geeks and Gamers, you can go to our website. You can sign up for a premium subscription. That will help us out a lot. But as far as sponsorships, not really worried about that. Nintendo needs to get their shit together. This is embarrassing. It's embarrassing as someone who supports them and constantly defends them. And I understand that sometimes when you have creative people on the level of Nintendo that have created all these wonderful IPs, we're talking about a very, different set of people, which is a good thing. Different is good when it's from a creative standpoint, when you're creating these wonderful IPs and games that they've done for so very long. But it also makes them make stupid decisions like this. And if they're not put in check, and if they're not called out by people that have a little bit of influence, then they're just going to continue to do it. So people, call them out. Let them know this is stupid, this is dumb, and they need to do a little more research and understand that the optics are very, very bad. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much for checking out this video, and we will talk to you later.